Alright guys, I'm going to start a quick video here. I'm headed to an appointment, so I got a couple minutes on the road. And it actually is one that's a very common question we get asked a whole lot, so I just wanted to walk through it on a timely manner where I'm not so rushed. And it's how to buy a vehicle or how to properly sell a vehicle when somebody has passed away. And I want to start with some of the process that you guys can put in motion now that'll really help you in the long run. If you're a husband and wife, doesn't matter if you're elderly or not, because case in point for one of the vehicles that we have for sale currently that I just dropped a video on, it's a Jeep Wrangler, which is a great deal if you look for a Jeep Wrangler. A little plug for that one. It's a younger couple actually, but they did have their ducks in a row. They had an and/or survivor on their titles, and that's something you can do at any time. Husband and wife, do an and/or survivor on your title, and at that point, when somebody does pass away and you're finally done, getting through the funeral process and you're ready to move on and sell something, you can go get a title. You can go get a title the next day. You can go get a title 6 months later, a year later, whatever you want to do. So get that in place. One of the biggest problems we have is when people don't have that in place, and my mom ends up having to be the one to deal with it, is somebody passes away, that's not the situation, and there's probate to the will involved, or there's no will at all. It could take years. We have people come in several weeks later and she has to be the bearer of bad news. But it could take years sometimes for something to be sold, unfortunately. And that's very unfortunate because sometimes people need that money. They need it for the funeral. They need it for expenses. They need it for, the children or whatever the case may be. And sometimes people are just ready to put things behind them. And that's where we come in a lot. Being as we've, sold 20,000 vehicles. Not all of them are local. As our local base changes, it used to be everybody that was surrounding in the Ettrick area or Matoka area came to my dad. We only sold local. We only had local customers. So they all came to him for advice and help when this situation happened. And, that's how it started, and it spiraled. And now, heck, I'm dealing with great grandchildren of people that my dad sold to. That's crazy to think, but we've been in business almost 50 years. So that's one thing you can do to get ahead of the curve, is to have your titles right. The second thing is, when it comes time to actually do this, you can deal with me personally, you can deal with my mom personally, and there's some other paperwork. If the title's there, then we do a consignment form, we do some other things. And we want the consumer, the customer, the person that's selling it, to be the first-hand person. If it's too rough, it's too hard to handle, we understand that. We do need that point of contact to at least be on the paperwork. But if it's better for a son or a daughter to bring the vehicle because it meant too much or there's emotions involved, we understand that. And that's where this comes in hugely. We want the customer to be involved. We want you to research. We want you to do your due diligence as far as that goes. We can show you market analysis. We can show you book values if the vehicle's new enough. If the vehicle's older, we can have an appraiser come in. We're happy to do that as well. We've done this in the case of one vehicle. The one I'm talking about now is actually involving two vehicles that we have for sale. We've done as many as 30, 40, 50 vehicles for people in the past. But we want it to be the right time. We want you to be comfortable with the situation, and we want to be helpful. That's our biggest thing, is we want to be helpful to you in this situation, in this time of grieving. And we know there's a lot of emotions involved. Bringing us to the other factor, we don't want to be involved if there's a bunch of drama involved. There's always a Uncle Bob or a Aunt Sue or something that's like, oh, you're taking advantage of somebody, or you're doing this or that. We want that out of the way ahead of time. If Uncle Bob or Aunt Sue wants to put the money up and buy something, let them have it. If they can afford it and they want to do it, and the price is the price, let them have it. That's fine. We'd rather not have the family drama and issues, or be the moderator of family drama and issues, and we've had that happen in the past too. I do a lot of purchasing of homes, businesses, properties, and stuff that also involve death situations. That's a lot more complicated than just a transfer of a title and whatever. But the same way, I try to make it very easy. And we don't always have to consign a vehicle, no different than when I buy a house, I'm buying it. I'm not consigning it, I'm not brokering it. But we want all the family stuff to be, squashed. And we have attorneys and lawyers and people that help with all that you're welcome to be involved with too. There's no secrets. If we agree upon $300,000 and the attorney's going to do their part, yes, there's a couple fees involved, but you're getting $300,000. If you want to use your own attorney or lawyer, that's fine too. It's not really a plug for buying houses, but if anybody wants to reach out, they can, because that's another part of what I do. But on the vehicle side, you have all the, things at your fingertips with Google and the internet these days, and if you're selling let's just say it's a 40 Ford. We have one of those for sale currently. Wasn't a death situation, we traded in. But let's say he's got a 40 Ford, and you go online, you're going to see 40 Fords from $15,000 to $150,000. So you can't just pick the $150,000 one and say that's what I want, unless it is a $150,000 car. But it will give you some good guidance. It's much easier to sell newer vehicles than classics, but we can help work through that as well. And I'm pulling up here real quick, so I might have to put this on hold. Be right back. All right, guys, not sure where I left off, but I'm back. I don't know if you've had to try to get anything done in the healthcare industry recently, but I had to get a checkup, which will lead to another video. But they said the next appointment was in 2025, somewhere around February or March. Kind of crazy, so sorry I had to break into that there, but had to get there when I could. Consignment is one option. That's where we sell a vehicle for you or your family. Purchase, no problem either. Again, easy to do. My mom is a 74-year-old widow herself, so she can feel for the situation. We're all sympathetic, and it's something that just has to be talked about. And again, when somebody passes, there's things that have to be dealt with. We try to make it easy. Again, a lot of the dealings are with her. So if you're a female and you feel more comfortable, no problem. You can have all the dealings with her. She's very prompt with emails. She's very quick on the computer. But we can definitely help you get things posted and get it taken care of, because we know, to a lot of people, a vehicle like the vehicle I'm driving, this is just plug for this vehicle that is for sale. It's a 392 Hemi, pretty much brand new. Still got the wrapper on the light here. 392 Wrangler. These things are crazy powerful. But we all know, especially as men and a lot of women now, vehicles are sentimental, and then of course when somebody's gone, they know that was their baby or that was their pride and joy, and it is really emotional to deal with. So we just had a woman that sold a vehicle of her husband's with us, and she was very teary-eyed when she came to get paid. She was very appreciative. She said, all right, back again, sorry, phone cut off there, storage is full, calamity of errors. But the lady that we sold her late husband's vehicle for, she literally teared up and cried when she came to get paid in the check. She said, look, I couldn't have done it without you guys. You made it very seamless, very easy. She actually dropped off a couple other effects that she had found in cleaning up, some paperwork, some documents, some very appreciated stuff that we were able to send with the vehicle because it hadn't shipped out yet. But in the case of hers, just to give you a timeline, we put the vehicle up for sale. She was on the high side of the market. She was actually on the very high side of the market, but it was a nice vehicle. It was a Dodge Power Wagon, old school 40s, 50s model. We happened to found a military customer, a disabled veteran actually, that wanted it. We negotiated back and forth on her behalf. We included her on the negotiations. She actually worked with Christian quite a bit, and negotiated the deal, went through all the paperwork, agreed upon a price. The customer was happy with the price. We figured out what other stuff was coming, and he was even more thrilled because he got more paperwork than what he really realized he was going to get. So that was a good thing. It's always good when there's more than less. And once we got paid, she came in with her title a day or two later. She got paid, so it was a very fast process. The vehicle hadn't even left yet. We hadn't even found a transporter at that time to get the vehicle transported to the new owner. But the timeline worked out really good. She was very happy. Customer buying was very happy, and we were happy to help her out because her other option was putting it on Facebook or putting it on Craigslist and dealing with a bunch of people, which at 80 some years old, she didn't want to have to deal with. So it was a good resolve to all. She was happy. The person that referred her to me said she was very pleased. He followed up afterwards to thank us for helping her out. He'd been doing business with her for years, and that's how we got put together. So that's how it works, guys. That's how you buy and sell on a vehicle after somebody has passed away, if there's a death situation. And again, even if you're just looking for questions or advice, we'll be happy to help you. Shoot us an email, typically Gail@DavisAutoSales.com or trucks@DavisAutoSales.com. So we'll get you the fastest replies, because I get hundreds upon hundreds of emails a day. I try to get through them, but sometimes it's the next day or at night when I get to them, as busy as we stay. We'll get you a straight answer. We'll get you a proper answer. And if there's some paperwork involved, you can scan that stuff to us. We'll take a look at it and make sure you have everything you need in order for the future. Or if it's an immediate situation that needs help with, we'll also help with that. So hopefully this has been explanatory, guys. Hopefully it gives you guys some advice, even if you don't deal with us, just of how to deal with situations going forward. And if you need anything, we're here for you. Davis Auto Sales in Richmond, Virginia, 804-271-0030.